Hahn-Tech Premium Trading Tools, professional quality tools designed to sharpen your edges. Hi guys, welcome to the next video in the series for the volume profile and TPO profile premium indicators. And this is the installation and setup video, and I want to go ahead and remind you where we're at in the list of videos. We just finished up the risk reward drawing tool if you're watching these in the series order. And then the next up in this particular video is the installation and setup. And for the installation and setup instructions, I'll go ahead and use Windows because I know that a majority of our users are using a Windows machine. So this is for the Windows version of Thinkorswim. The process is very similar for the Mac, and if you know how to navigate your file system on a Mac, then you should be able to follow these instructions and learn how to do this on your Mac as well. But if you need help, then be sure to let us know when you make the purchase, and I'll provide some instructions on that for you. All right, so what we have here open on the PC is the downloads folder. That's where we're going to load the file. And what you're going to do is you're going to receive an email, and that email is going to include a zip folder. So zip folders are usually flagged as a potentially hazardous file type. But this is the best way I have to deliver these files, and so one way that you can mitigate this is you can add my email address, dryheat3@hahn-tech.com, to your contacts folder, and that will usually mitigate any objection from your email client for receiving a zip folder from me. So go ahead and click the download. Now this is Yahoo Mail. It could be Gmail, it could be any number of email clients that you might use. I can't show them all here, but for every email client you're going to have the option to download the folder, and we'll go ahead and click the download button. And you can see over here on the left that it shows up in our downloads folder because that is the default location for downloads folders on this computer. You may have selected a different default folder for your downloads, and if you have done so, then you'll probably know exactly where to find them. So let's go ahead, and now we want to focus on the downloads folder. So what you want to do is go ahead and double click this. Okay, double clicking it will open it to view its contents. It won't actually extract all of the files from it, but it will open the files so that you can view the compressed files within it. So we'll double click that, and here's the list of files. So I'm just going to select all of these with my mouse, okay, and right click and select copy. All right, now we can go back by pressing the up one level button, and we can go back to the downloads folder, and we can right click and select paste. It's that little button right here on Windows 11. Go ahead and click that, and all of those files that were compressed within that zip folder are now available here in the downloads folder. Okay, notice that we have different file types. HTA is for a chart study analysis. Okay, chart study analysis, that's what that A stands for. So we've got the HTA trend igniter, and we've got the HTA volume profile. And if you have an HTS, that's for a scan. If you have an HTW, that's for a watch list. So that's how you can tell these files apart. Okay, and the other thing I'll let you know about is the file extensions here. You see that we have the chart studies. They end in study.ts. Study.ts, those were not visible before. I just activated the ability to see the file extensions. And then you see for the scans as well as the watch list columns, those are provided as plain text files. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to work with each of these files, and we're going to go through this rather quickly so that you can go ahead and replay this if you need to, but we're going to go quickly so that we can keep the video as short as possible. Okay, so let's go ahead and import these chart studies to begin with. We've got the trend igniter, and we've got the volume profile. And if you have purchased the TPO, okay, then you will see TPO profile here, and everything else that says volume profile, for instance, will say TPO profile. So it's the same exact process. The files are just different names, and I gave those to you during the review of the features. Okay, now I'll go ahead and show you how to import these study files. Go back to Thinkorswim. We'll go ahead and load a ticker symbol on the chart. Doesn't matter what we load here. What we want to do is access the Edit Studies window. So I'm going to click this button to edit studies, and then you'll notice down here we have an import button. Okay, a lot of you don't know that that import button is available, but yes, it is. You can not only import, but you can also export studies, and this enables us to deliver files without the potential problem of copy-paste errors. So we want to make sure that we use that option whenever possible. So we go ahead and click the import button, and then we're going to navigate to the downloads folder, and in this case we're going to have to go up one level before we can find where the folder is for downloads. So we go ahead and click that. Now you can see that this shows two files, Trend Igniter version 1 study and the Volume Profile V4 study. And again, if we go back to the downloads folder, you can see those files right here. Okay, so it's picking those files up because of the file extensions. So we go ahead and select one of those and click open. And if we go ahead and search for that, we just go ahead and type in HTA, for instance. There's the indicator that we just imported. Now we'll go ahead and import the other one. Again, the same process. We go to downloads. Here's the volume profile. We click open, and that imports it into our Thinkorswim platform. And we go ahead and click OK. And then we go ahead and double click that to add it to our chart. And then we can adjust the settings as needed. Now we're going to review the settings in a later portion of the video that's coming up really quickly. So I'm just going to, for now, just show you how to load these onto your chart. After importing, you just hit apply and OK. And there might be something that you need to do here. So it's very important that you understand that the indicator is defaulted to certain settings which may not work for the time frame you have set on the chart. Okay, that looks like a disaster, doesn't it? It is. So you go ahead and click edit studies. Notice we're on a daily time frame. Okay, so that means we need to go to the volume profile indicator or the TPO profile, depending on which one you purchased, and check for the time per profile. Like if you're daily time frame on the chart, then you probably want a one month long profile. A 1 week profile on a daily chart just is not appropriate. And then the pivots time frame, I like to set those to the same thing I use for the profile periods, but you can choose something different. For instance, you can choose 1 week. And I did promise you that I would tell you what was available for the moving averages for higher time frames. So it's the same with the pivots. So pivots or the moving averages have the following list of options available for the higher time frames. Okay, we'll review this again during the settings. So we go ahead and change the higher time frame for the moving averages. Let's just go ahead and do the pivots and the moving averages, higher time frame weekly. The chart is set to daily. Remember that. There's an awful lot of settings here, and this is where people get tripped up most on this indicator. This has been one of my most popular indicators that I've been selling over the years, and it seems that people that are most likely to get tripped up have really missed some of the settings. They don't understand how to adjust the settings. So when we go into that section of the video, be sure and pay close attention, because if you get these settings wrong, you're going to end up with a train wreck and you're going to blame me. The problem is that you need to make sure the settings are appropriate for the time frame that you have set on the chart. So we can go ahead and now we can zoom out and zoom in. We can see that now we have daily time frames. I'm going to turn off that volume. That's annoying. Good. Now we've got a chart that's a little bit larger size here, and that looks a little bit better. Okay, good. So now we can see that we have those volume profiles of 1 month long, and we have the moving averages of 1 week, and we have also the pivots. Pivots R2, S2, and PP are all on 1 week periods. Okay. And then if you don't like it being all scrunched up like this, right now there's a setting that's default on Thinkorswim. To me, it's kind of irritating to have that as a default setting. But if you go to price axis and uncheck fit studies, you see that setting that I just unchecked, fit studies, click apply and OK. Now the price bars control the price range instead of the indicator. So now you can see things a little bit more detail. Okay, it's just one little tip that I'll give you that trips up a lot of people, I know. Okay, so I've shown you how to import the chart studies, and the rest is going to be the scans and the watch list columns, which is very much the same process for each. So what you do is you open up the plain text file, you select all of the text within that file, and you copy it to your clipboard, and then you paste it to whatever tool it is that you want to use. For instance, we can do that with the scan, and the scan will be copied into the study filter of the scan. So we go over here to a scan. This is a custom scan. We click add filter. We add study filter, and you go ahead and select whatever time frame is appropriate for you, and then you can click the edit button, and you can see that that opens up a window. And if you go to the ThinkScript editor, I'll close that reference window, then you can highlight whatever code might be in there till you have a blank slate. And then what you want to do is copy the text out of that file and paste it into this view. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that off screen here because there's a code that's going to show up, so I don't want to reveal that. Okay, so I've copied that out of the plain text file, and now I'll select paste. Okay, and once that code is pasted in, you can see the name of that scan right there. Okay, that's the same name as the file that you copied from, so that you can keep track of what that is when you paste it in. There will be no other way to do that once you get it pasted into the scan. Let's open this up just a little bit so we get a bit more room. We can see all the user inputs. So those are the settings that I will be reviewing coming up here in the video shortly. And I'll show you how to adjust each of these manually. Unfortunately, on Thinkorswim, with scans and custom watch list columns, we had to adjust our settings here. And I'm sorry that is the case, but that's just the way it is. So when you're done here, okay, then you go ahead and hit OK, and then your code is now stored in your scan. So you can add as many study filters as you need to this and add all of your different scans that you want to include, and you can add stock filters, and we're not going to go into all the details for custom scans. I have a masterclass video on my website. It's called Thinkorswim Scans Beginner to Advance. I encourage you to go ahead and look that up and view that video. If you have not used scans before, it will save you a tremendous amount of time and show you incredible things that you can do using the scan tool on Thinkorswim. But it's much more complicated than we can cover here in this video. Now I'm going to show you how to do the same with a watch list column. So we're going to detach a watch list gadget. If you don't have a watch list gadget present in the left-hand side menu, then you just click the plus sign down here on the bottom, add gadget, and then you can select watch list from that, and it will add a watch list to this sidebar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a detach gadget. I'm going to resize that so we have a little bit more room. I'm going to select a watch list that I've already prepared for this. Then I'm going to close this sidebar because we no longer need that. In fact, we really don't even need Thinkorswim anymore. We can minimize that screen right there. Now we have our watch list over here, and we have our watch list files. So again, same process. What we do though is we right click over one of those columns and select customize. And from there you select custom quotes. This is where you have all of your custom quotes. Now you can rename these, and you can put whatever code in here that you like. And so what you do is you double click those to add. Okay. And in this case, you could add 5, okay, 1 for each of the files that we have provided here. But I'm going to demonstrate it with 1, and you can go ahead and do it with all the rest. So I'll go ahead and click the script icon that is for editing the code that's in that custom column. So you just click that, and it opens up the code editor. And whatever code is in there, you want to go ahead and delete it, because we don't need that. And then I'll go ahead and off screen, I'll copy the contents of this folder right here. And then now that I've copied the contents of that folder, I'll go ahead and paste it. And once you have pasted that code in there, like the scan, you have the file name is up here. So you know that this is for a watch list for Trend Igniter signals. And you go ahead and scroll down here, and you can see all of the settings for that, and it is just exactly the same settings as you find in the scan. So when we do get to the settings portion of the video, I'll be demonstrating these in parallel. When I make an adjustment on the chart indicator and explain it, I'll also show you how to make that same adjustment on the watch list column, and from that you will also know how to do it on the scan. There's no sense in me showing you how to do it on the watch list column and the scan, because the inputs are identical for each when you're comparing each file type. Okay, so that's it. You click apply and OK, and that gets added to your watch list. I'll hit OK here, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to load. I did forget one thing. When I created this list, I set everything to a 15-minute time frame, so we should probably do that and hit apply and OK, so that you can see that there's some signals here. Okay, so those are the Trend Igniter signals, and that's just one of 5 different columns available when you purchase either the volume profile or the TPO profile indicator. Okay, that's it for setup and installation. The rest of it is really going to be covered in the settings. So when we cover the settings, you're going to be exposed to all the other elements here. I've got a custom watch list gadget set up with all 5 columns, and I'll be showing you examples so that you can see how those columns display the signals and conditions that are present on the chart, and understand how all of those things line up. And just a quick reminder of where we're at in the list of videos. We just finished up the installation and setup video, and the next video in the series covers the settings for the TPO profile as well as the Trend Igniter. So that will be the next video in the playlist if you watch them in the order that I recommend.